2 years of applications, 2 years of tailoring your CV, rewriting your cover letter, trying to get it right. 2 years of, unfortunately, on this occasion. Somewhere along the line, you started to wonder, is it my name? Is that what's keeping them from giving me the job? Is that why they keep saying no? Stay with me because I have something to say from today's letter. This is Hello Misola and you're welcome to another episode. Right, so I'm going to be reading today's letter and it is, Hello Misola, I have been applying for jobs in my field for over 2 years and I keep getting the unfortunately emails. What am I doing wrong? Could it be because I do not have an English name? Okay. First of all, I want you to know that I hear you. 2 years is a long time. 2 years of applications, unfortunately, is going through the same thing, thinking you're almost getting there, but you're not. It's exhausting. Not just practically, but emotionally. It wears you down in a way that nobody would understand if they've not been through it. And I do not want us to just breeze through it and pass it. I understand because I've been there as well. But I have to tell you the truth in this when I'm giving you my opinion. And the truth has 3 layers or a few layers. I can't remember if it's 3. But layer 1 is, yes, the bias is real. Studies have shown that CVs with names of people with ethnic minorities, like ethnic names, they get fewer callbacks. This is documented. It's not paranoia. You're not going out of it. You're not losing it because you're thinking that way. It's a pattern, and I'm not going to stand here or sit here and pretend like it does not exist. But here is the second layer, and this part is just as important. Jane Smith is also getting rejections. John Brown is also getting the unfortunately emails. The job market, particularly in this country right now, is extremely saturated. For every decent role, there are hundreds of applicants, and the rejection ratio is brutal for everyone. And most people do not talk about that. But yeah, we acknowledge that, we know it. Everyone knows this who is actively trying to get a job, and you're speaking to recruiters daily. They tell you that there are hundreds of applications for just one role. It's there. So the question I want you to sit down and think and reflect is this: how much of this is bias and how much of this is the result of a highly competitive market? Because if we spend all of our energy on the things we cannot change, which is our name, we will miss those little things that we can change. And there are things that we can change. And here's the third layer. And I'm going to say this with care. And just know that I say this with all the love that I have. Dwelling in the belief that your name is the barrier puts you in a bubble. And that bubble is dangerous. It closes you off to feedback and it makes you stop applying. Meanwhile, what you should be doing at this point or at that point in time is to intensify your applications. It turns you inward when the breakthrough actually requires you to go outward. You're too anointed, you're too skilled, and you're too close to your breakthrough to live inside that bubble. Okay, so now let's go into the kingdom perspective. Let's hear what God has to say. Surely they shall gather, but not because of me. Whoever gathers against you shall fall for your sake. Isaiah 54 verse 15. Now this scripture is about the enemy's attempt to gather against you and their failures. So whatever is working against your name, your accent, your look, the word, the Bible, God said it already, it will not prosper. And not because the opposition will disappear overnight, although it could, but because what's for you is for you, and God has ordained that it's for you, and nobody can take it from you. And then there's the last scripture and the kingdom perspective. It's Psalm 139 verse 14, and it says, I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that fully well. God is intentional and particular about you. He did not choose your name by accident. You're not here by accident. He did not give you a heritage that you're supposed to be ashamed of. He counted every hair on your head, and he has never for once looked at your name and looked at you and said, I would love you less than I have loved you before. That is not the God that we serve. And if a company looks at the name that God gave you and decided that you were not worth a phone call, guess what? You did not lose. You dodged the bullet there because that is not a company that would have seen you anyway. Okay, so now let's go into the strategy, the practical. If you find yourself, or for the person that sent this letter in, and if you're watching and you find yourself in this situation, meanwhile, before we go on, can I just say, if you have a circumstance or a challenge that you're currently going through, just click the link in the description, send me your letter. We open it here, read through it, and provide a solution, right? So click the link in the description. Right, so let's go into the strategy, the practical things that you need to start doing and implementing right now to get yourself on the other side and finding that perfect dream job that you've always wanted. So step one, understand the market that you're in. So the market is saturated, highly saturated, and the more generalist your role is, the more competitive it's going to be. So the people that have specialized role, that's what I'm saying. So I'll use myself as an example. I am a business analyst, more almost a general one, right? And so it's more difficult to land a role, unlike someone who is a Salesforce business analyst or someone who is a SAP business analyst. It means that they are only going to call you when they're looking for someone who is a SAP business analyst. And guess what? There are not a lot of people that have taken the time to learn SAP. I tried, I couldn't get into it. I tried Salesforce, I couldn't get into it. So that is how specialized you are. If you're applying for a role that 1,000 or a couple of hundred other people are applying for, the odds are stacked against you even before you enter the room. Nothing, it has nothing to do with your name, your ethnic name. So ask yourself, am I specialized enough? Am I visible in my field? And then do not stop applying. It can take 6 weeks, it can take 2 years, it can take 6 months. The point is, the people who get it are not the ones that are most talented or they are wiser. They are the people who are persistent. They are the people who did not give up. Step two, build your network before you need it. Most roles, especially the mid to senior level roles, are filled before they are even advertised. They are filled through recommendations, through conversations, and someone recommending them before it even gets to the point of being on a job portal or a job board. So if you're applying cold for every role, then you're playing on hard mode. It's difficult. Yes, it is. I acknowledge that. So start building your network now. Connect with recruiters in your industry. Is there a particular industry? So when I say industry, I'm even saying goal specific. So you are I would always use myself as an example, but apply that to your field. You're a business analyst, but you now want to be a business analyst in the retail industry. There are recruiters who specialize in that industry, in the education industry, in what other industries there? In the financial industry, in banking, there are recruiters there. So you have to network with these recruiters, get on the phone with them, have this conversation, send your CV, send reminders to them that you're still in the market, you're still looking for a role, and just all you need is one person to give you a shot. That is really all you need. So you just have to keep going, keep networking, keep having those conversations, because the more you have those conversations with the recruiters and have just a few of them, you don't need to have a massive pool. One day a role will pop up and you'll be the first person that will be in their head that they will send an email to recommend you for it. So when I was preparing for this video, there was a point that I saw, and it says be active on LinkedIn. In all fairness, I cannot leave it out because it does work. But I also was a bit skeptical about saying it because I hate LinkedIn. I don't really use LinkedIn. And I was like, but it works. And would this be helpful? Yes, it would be helpful. So if you can be active on LinkedIn, go and set up your profiles on LinkedIn. You would get calls or, shout outs. Not calls, not shout outs. You would get recruiters reaching out to you on there. But also, bear in mind, that's not the only way. I hate LinkedIn, never use LinkedIn, only on there for visibility purposes, and it kind of worked for me. But yeah, you take with it and do with that what you want to do with that. Step three, audit your application honestly. Is your cover letter tailored or is it generic? There was a time, even just as close as 2022, that having one generic cover letter would suffice. But now it's no longer the case, right? You have to go and tailor it to that specific application, what it is they're looking for. So you have to spend more time and be more intentional about what it is you're doing. So if you're using one cover letter for all, let's take a step back and then you need to not do that. Another tip here also is, if you do get to the interview stage, if you're, as much as you can, as much as possible, record that interview. What you want to do is you want to go back and play back that interview session and look at what could have what you could have said better. Now, this is not for you know when we're in school and then you finish an exam and then people are outside and say, oh, what did you write for this, what did you write for that? No, it's not to do that. It's basically for you to improve for the next interview. So it's like, what did they ask me here? Is this a common thing? Because the more interviews you record, the more you would be able to flesh out common questions. That's data for you, and data that will be very helpful. Flesh out common questions. These are the questions that stand out. So how do I prepare for this? It's just getting better at what you do. Honestly, the more interviews you do, the better you get at it. And we get to a point where you're no longer nervous and anxious over interviews anymore because you're just doing it consistently and you're getting better at it. Step 4, consider the stepping stone. So you might be applying for the destination roles, whereas you might need to consider the foundation that the role requires. In simple terms, what am I trying to say here? If you're applying for senior business analyst roles or product manager roles that require, the more the remuneration, the more that is required of you, the more expertise, the more experience that is required of you. If you're applying for business analyst roles that are like maybe 500 a day or a higher wage, like I don't know, for permanent, I don't know, maybe like 80K or 60K. Are there BA roles that are 80K? I doubt it. But yeah, you get the point. Or senior business analyst roles, or if you're not even a business analyst, let's use something else. You're applying for managerial positions that would require more responsibility, but also it's a higher income that is going to be paid. You don't necessarily have that experience, or you have that experience but you are not quite confident just yet. Could it be that you just need a stepping stone to maybe apply for the supervisor role instead? Maybe apply for the junior business analyst or just the business analyst rather than applying for the lead BA role. That's a stepping stone. It's one step below, it's more accessible, and it would give you the experience and the exposure that you require that would make it very difficult for anybody to say no. It also gives you some sort of leverage because you could move into that role later on, 12 months from now, in that same organization, or you could just be more confident in what you're doing. And it makes the senior BA role, the senior product manager role, undeniable to you in the next 12 months. So getting in is not settling. Getting in strategically is wisdom. One key thing you need to remember is don't get comfortable while you're growing, while you're on that stepping stone. Don't get comfortable once you go in, because that's the tricky thing, and that's the caveat I need to put there. Because you now have a job, or it's not the senior BA role, but it's at least a BA role, and then you just get comfortable. Step 5, love your name fully and without apology. Your name is your heritage, it's your family's history. It's the sound of where you came from, and that's not a liability. That's your story. Embrace it. If a recruiter or HR filters you out because of the sound of your name, then God has just protected you from a company that was never going to truly value you. So do not grieve that loss. What is for you is being prepared and is on its way to you. Do not let anyone steal the beauty of who you are while you're in the process of getting that thing that you want. Okay, so I want to close with something direct. Your name is not too much. Your heritage is not heavy, and you're not too foreign for the life you came here to build. The barrier is real, but God is bigger than the barrier. That's not platitude, and I'm not trying to sell some sort of hope to you to make you feel better. That is scripture. And as Christian immigrants, we go by the scripture, we go by the word. And you're no exception to that. So keep going. Specialize, network, sharpen your application, step through the doors that are open. And while you do that, carry your name like the honor that it is. Do not trade it. Do not apologize for it. Do not whisper it. Your name is your heritage. What is for you is coming, and you must not give up. I am Misola. I am not giving up, and so you shouldn't. If you've enjoyed this video up to this point, I'd love for you to please subscribe to my channel, like this video, and share it to anyone who you think is currently going through this application process. They might not have told you that it's because of their name, but they probably need to hear this as well. Or it's something they've just been thinking about deep down within them and they've not voiced it out just yet. Remember, keep going, keep going, keep going. Your future you demands that you are persistent and you do not give up. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.